Yeah.
Second, I didn't see the second goal. No.
Dude, it was a fucking joke. They passed it back to Ulreich, and he like made like he was sliding into home plate and just missed the ball completely, and then Benzema just like put it into an empty net. Did you hear what I said, Ron? Yeah.
Yeah, Benzema's. I hate how Real Madrid is winning this game right now.
Yeah.
Bury your chances, Bayern Munich. Bury your chances. And with that, let's start the Soccer Scoop podcast here. Welcome on to the pod alongside Dylan Gertzley. I'm Kevin Brown. We'll have special guest Owen Hines on today's episode. So,
woot woot.
So let's go.
So Kevin.
So Dylan.
This first fact you have listed on the rundown here, I'm actually pretty interested in discussing.
Ooh, interesting. So the first fact for you listeners, Barcelona have just secured their 7th La Liga title in the last 10 years.
That's 70% of half of my life, 35% of my whole life.
Real Madrid, on the other hand, have only won 2 of those La Liga titles, Dylan.
And the other one would be shared by their crosstown rivals, I assume. Correct?
Yes, correct. Amundo.
Pretty sure. Or was it because didn't Deportivo La Corona?
Not in the last 10 years.
No, they were a little before.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So 2008, if anyone remembers, because I'm struggling to, would be my second FIFA game, or my third. I started with FIFA 06, obviously.
I started with 07.
I played 07 with my neighbor a lot. But anyway, United were very, very good that year, but Barcelona were insane that year.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's 2008 or 2009 where they won 6 for 6 trophies.
Oh, wait.
Well, that was 08.
08, 09. 08, 09.
Because I thought United won the Champions League in 08.
Yeah, like 2008/2009, that season.
Oh, okay. So the following year, 2009 then. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it just shows like the amount of success they've had in the league. And this is kind of what I wanted to go with it. Like the league success of Barcelona hasn't really translated as much to the Champions League as Real Madrid have. You know what I mean?
It's well, yeah, okay, yeah.
So what would you value more? Not like as a fan, let's put it, not as like Florentino Perez or one of the managers that these clubs have had. What do you value as a fan more? Do you see your club to win the knockout stage or like a knockout stage tournament like Champions League like Liverpool is doing, or the domestic league?
So you took this in a direction I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, give me your take after you answer this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I want to build my point here. Liverpool haven't won a trophy since 2012, and then the biggest trophy of my lifetime is probably 2005. And so Ryan's fucking distracting me. Anyway, so it's hard for me to imagine that type of success, and then it's hard for me to imagine saying like, hey, Liverpool just won 7 of the last 10 Premier League titles, but they haven't really won that many champions. They've won 2 Champions Leagues in the past 10 years. But then I would say then I was a happy fan that entire time. I don't know if I prefer one or the other, because if I'm a Madrid fan and I'm winning UCLs back to back, and I'm doing that for the first time ever, if I'm a Madrid fan and I have Cristiano Ronaldo and I have Zinedine Zidane and I have competitive, beautiful soccer at all levels of the game in every single competition, I don't know if I'm actually that upset that they haven't won everything, or that they haven't won on multiple fronts, right. If you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's like, I think either way you go, fans are happy. I don't think there's a fan that's going to be like, or am I being lame again? Should I just pick one?
No, I mean I get what you're saying. Like, it's hard to pick, right? Like the
It's hard
league.
to pick. And for a Liverpool fan, I would say I want both. I want them to win the Premier League so I can stop having stupid people tell me that just because it was rebranded, they've never won the league, which isn't fucking true. Okay?
I love it. I love
Or
saying that.
I would also love them to win the Champions League because I'm sick and fucking tired of everyone acting like Liverpool aren't European royalty. They are.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we'll see tomorrow, I guess, or
You're
today
gonna see
as
you're
you
gonna see
listen to
some
this
European
podcast.
royalty on show tomorrow. You understand? You understand? You're gonna see some Egyptian royalty too.
Yeah. So me and Owen will talk about that a little later, a little foreshadowing. But
Ryan just informed me that James megged Keylor Navas.
and the score is level 2-2 in the second leg. Real Madrid versus Bayern. Of course, while this podcast is being recorded, the game is still going on. So it's 4-3 Real Madrid on aggregate. And me and Owen were saying we want, like, ideally we would want like a 2-1 Bayern win. So it'd go to like penalty kicks, and that would be, fun. But didn't happen. So hopefully Bayern can get another one, because I'm not the biggest Madrid fan. And sticking with Madrid before we go over to this Bayern whole fiasco. Like, if we put ourselves in Messi and Ronaldo's shoes, which is like, impossible. But because Messi recently said this week, Barcelona has just been so superior to any other like, it's the most cocky statement I've ever heard Messi have. He was like, we've been so superior to all European competition over the last 10 years. I was like, well, damn. Tell me how
He's
you
not
really
wrong.
feel. Yeah, he's not wrong at all. But hey, I love it from Messi. And like, this kind of, like, if Ronaldo wins the Champions League this year, Messi wins La Liga, both make deep runs in the World Cup this summer, and like, that debate just spruces up, and I love seeing every second of it. But like, I mean, we have two great generational players that we won't ever get to see again. And I'm 100% a Messi kind of guy. But what does this do for his? I think, because in the both have consistent success on the playing field, but I don't think. Like, I think Ronaldo has dipped a little bit, and Messi's stayed, especially in La Liga. But like, he had one bad game this season, and that was against Roma. So
So
where my question is, where are you at with the Messi versus Ronaldo debate? With
so
like, if Ronaldo doing so well in Champions League this year, Messi his continued success in La Liga.
right. So I think this is another interesting point. I think it speaks to like the unparalleled dominance of continuity, because Messi's from Barcelona's academy, and the team has been built around him basically since Ronaldinho left. So yeah, he wins 7 out of 10. He wins 7 out of 10 La Liga titles. I don't think there's another player that's ever dominated a league like that. I just don't think there is. And then Ronaldo, I think, is just like he's a different side of the coin, where he was more of a traveled player because he started out at a small Portuguese club, and he kind of made his
Not
way.
that small, but yeah.
Small in comparison to Madrid, I'm saying.
Yeah.
He would be a sporting legend, but he wouldn't be a global legend, I don't think, if he was doing cool stuff at Sporting. But anyway, where he's kind of had to like go to the team that was fighting it out up there, as opposed to like being the guy that was gonna, like, not that Ronaldo's not built around. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a different relationship. It's a different setup. And Messi's dominance is just different because of the continuity and because of the way the team is built, if that makes any sense.
No, perfect sense, especially with one of the main pieces of that continuity of the team leaving at the end of the season. Iniesta is going to be sent off with a double of his Barcelona reign. 2002, 2016, pretty impressive I know you're never the biggest Iniesta fan.
2002 to 2018. Sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you're good.
And I know you're not the biggest Iniesta fan, but it is so annoying to me to see him just go to China like this. Like Xavi went to Qatar.
So let me ask you something. Do you think, because Iniesta has already said, I'm not playing in Europe because I don't want to play against Barcelona.
Yeah.
So you can't play in Europe. So that leaves you with South America, the United States, and China.
Obviously,
and
obviously I'm going to be biased, I guess.
Right.
Obviously,
we would want to see him stateside. Obviously.
Yeah. Obviously.
But I was having this conversation with Ryan earlier. Do you think he's going to China simply because as a professional and as a man who is transitioning into the next stage of his career, his playing days are over, essentially. He needs to make some money. And not that he didn't make any money with Barcelona, but I highly doubt that there isn't a player in the world that would say no to a nice fat paycheck before they hang the boots up for good. I can't fault Iniesta for that because, like you said, 2002 to 2018, I can't even imagine. That's 16 years. That's like my entire life. The dude's been killing it. So, yeah, I mean, go to China, dude. Make your money. I wish I could see you do it. Otherwise, no hard feelings. Go make your money. You're a legend.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more because Xavi did the same thing. He cashed out at Qatar. And, I mean, they're playing on borrowed time now, as you said. And just them really not having their legs under them, not being able to play full 90 minutes anymore. Like, go cash out. See you later. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting because it's like in the NFL and the NBA, it's like if a legend is going out the door, it's like a collective. Every city they go to, fans are like, "Oh, we can't believe you're leaving," you know. But in soccer, it's like they're only going to the next league. That's a step down, you know. So I don't know. It's an interesting to think. I think we struggle with it as American fans simply because of the way our domestic leagues are set up, and they're just completely different sports. But it is. I think it's a good decision for him, and it's a new place. He's a shy ass guy, so I'm sure he's going to struggle with the culture and the language over there. But
they're pretty shy people.
Chinese people?
Yeah. They're not like outwardly outgoing all the time.
Well, no one's outward. I don't know. I'm not going to. I don't care. I don't have any clue what Chinese people are like. I only lived with an exchange student for a year.
Stephen Kong, legend,
friend of the show.
On to the pod. But yeah, I mean, you're right. So I would say also with the whole American leagues thing, it's also that we're just not going to see him ever again because exposure in China, like we don't see Chinese games. We're not seeing
right, but we still see Shaq. You know, we still see Charles Barkley.
Right. And this is also that brings me. I was thinking about this the other day. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, him being in LA and his personality is doing wonders for soccer. I think.
Yes, and this is why
him going on Kimmel, him going on these talk shows on ESPN. That's awesome. I love seeing it.
This is why MLS has always put marquee players in LA. Is simply because every creative, powerful person is in LA. So if you want to grow your brand, if you want to increase your image, if you want to get people to like you, you're doing it out of LA. Like you're just doing it there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And yeah, it's very cool. Now to switch gears here a little bit, Dylan, go back into your Liverpool fan mindset here. As the game is winding down, it's still 2-2, Bayern Real Madrid. How are your reactions to seeing this?
To Madrid or to Liverpool?
For Liverpool.
So, reaction to the Madrid game from a Liverpool perspective.
Correct.
I wish Bayern would go through. I would like I think it's a cool story. Klopp exacting revenge on the team he last met in the Champions League final, and
Interesting.
winning with Liverpool.
Forgot about that.
I think it's a two middle fingers up to Yup Hankies, and I think it's two middle fingers up to the Nazi Bavarian club, and I think it's
Whoa.
yeah. I don't know if you knew this.
Nazis.
Yeah, Bayern's hierarchy is very connected with the Nazi Party in Germany. It's a little bit
Currently?
of German. Well, no one is legally allowed to be in Germany anymore, but they are descendants of Nazis.
Wow, crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, they got to go down. But yeah, just from like a Bayern fan perspective, you got to be very frustrated with just the team is missing so many chances. Wave after wave of attack, and like Madrid just on their heels, and they're getting these not lucky, but they're getting like well orchestrated counterattacks, especially in the first leg, which they executed pretty well. That first goal, Marcelo, like Carvajal just looped a little header all the way across the field. What? Get that shit out of here. Come on, Bayern. But you know what I mean?
Like, I know, I feel you. It's like watching Liverpool defend sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Dejan Lovrens out there. Bunch of them. So before we go to Owen's segment, I want to get your initial reactions from Liverpool's first leg against Roma. 5-2 win at Anfield. Craziness. Salah.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I wanted to see, and it kind of proved that Liverpool are for real, I think, if you can score 5 goals in a semifinal. However, some lackadaisical defending and a rather not harsh, but just like, I don't disagree with the call of James Milner's handball.
Sorry.
I don't disagree with the call of James Milner's handball, but it's just tough. I don't think there's much he could have done. I'm not saying like obviously that the rule needs to change. I'm just saying it's just kind of tough to accept, and it sucks. Like that 5-2 score line would have looked better if it was 5-1. You know, because I don't mind Dzeko scoring. We scored 5. But I think that because Liverpool showed all of their strengths and weaknesses, that they will be determined to show nothing but strength on strength on strength in the return leg. And I think it's going to be like a strong, stout performance from Liverpool. I think it's going to be a smart performance. I think it's going to be the smartest performance probably of the year, because I don't think Klopp and I don't think the team are really going to let themselves be Liverpool, be the mistake-ridden Liverpool that they have been at various times throughout the season. I think like the moment's too big, and I think they're just going to like yank their heads out of their asses, and they're just going to be like, this is it. This is Liverpool. And they're just gonna do it.
And that's actually a really good point, because as we saw with Barcelona, like they showed their best selves, all their strengths in the first leg, right? I mean, yeah, Roma scored all the goals seemingly with all the own goals, but they showed all their strengths. They came out firing in the first leg, and then they showed all their weaknesses. Liverpool, you're right, they showed all their strengths and weaknesses, so no reason to believe that, especially with Barcelona folding in the second leg, that they're going to underestimate Roma, especially with those late 2 goals. So with that, let's go into our guest, Owen Hines, joining the Soccer Scoop podcast right here. And thanks, Owen, for that. Dylan, before we get back to Liverpool topics, we ended Owen's segment off. Just to segue here, did you see that Trump tweet about the U.S. World Cup bid for 2026 alongside Mexico and Canada?
Yeah, he's asking African countries to help. Correct.
Yeah. Turn their backs on Morocco, basically. And, I mean, obviously we want the World Cup in the United States. But how much of, like, I don't want to make this too political, but, like, I mean, Trump is going to make it. Like, he puts a detriment to the World Cup bid for these 3 nations.
Maybe. I don't
like, he's not going to be president for 2026, you know, but
No, but if he's present for the negotiations, he could certainly have an impact. Understood. Um, the political game of the sport, I've never gotten into. I don't particularly understand how World Cup bids work. So for this, I'm just going to say, like, I don't think we're going to get the bid anyway. I don't think it has anything to do with Trump one way or the other.
Yeah.
I don't really know how it works, but from what I've been reading, the U.S. has never been like it's never been not that it's not a serious bid or a real bid, but it's just like never been one of the top contenders, from my understanding at least.
From my understanding, it's the U.S., Mexico, Canada tri-national bid,
right?
And Morocco are the last two really strong contenders for the 2020.
So there's only two.
Are the biggest threats, or Morocco's the biggest?
Well, why are we going to Morocco?
Right.
So
it's like I was saying to Owen, like basically we should have, if you're gonna have Qatar 2022, then you should have like a rotational kind of thing, like bigger nations that have the infrastructure, then go back to nations that need exposure. You know, if you're gonna try to go that route.
Yeah, that's interesting. But Mexico, United States, and Canada are like that's like the biggest swath of land ever. So like, how much are we asking these guys to travel? Are we asking them to travel 3,000 miles to play a game? What are we in Brazil again? Come on, Brazil was a joke, dude. The amount of travel they had to do in Brazil was unreal. I can't believe thousands and thousands of miles in between games. It was unreal. I was very surprised they asked the players to do that.
Well, that's also an issue that I really didn't think about. But also, like, so if there's three nations hosting, does that mean
Mexico, so you're going to have Mexico
Canada,
City,
U.S.? No. What I'm saying is, are those three nations automatically in the World Cup then? Yeah, right.
Oh man, that's a really good question. Yeah, I would assume. So we should look up. We should look up. There was the joint World Cup in 2002, right? It was wasn't it South Korea and somebody?
In Japan, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sure. That's interesting. For sure.
Canada, by that time, so that's like 8 years from now. Yeah, they'll have this guy. Hopefully, name's Alphonso Davies. Been mentioned on the show before. He plays for the Vancouver Whitecaps. He's 16 now. He's got already like 95 pace on FIFA. So 8 years, maybe he'll have 96 pace and he'll be like an 80 or something. But he's Canadian. Kyle Larin, also he's Canadian.
Spelled with a C.
Spelled with a C because he's Canadian. The United States doesn't have any prospects coming through the ranks besides Pulisic.
Yeah, they've got a couple, right?
No.
No. He's pretty good. Cameron Vickers.
Yeah, Cameron Carter Vickers, for being nice. Politically correct.
Not politically.
No, understood. I know the U.S. has prospects. I was more making a joke that there's no hope for our national team. But Mexico, well, just imagine this geographically too. Mexico City's in like the middle of Mexico. Vancouver's all the way to the west. Toronto's all the way to the east.
So from my understanding,
Chicago, what city in the middle of the country do we really want them to go to?
The U.S. would host most of the games, and Mexico, Canada have like a couple, basically, is from what I've understood. And that is basically from Sunil Gulati, who really headed the tri-national bid, said, if you guys want more games, we're just going to go into this World Cup bid alone, and you guys have no chance. All right. So that's basically what it is. We'll get more to it when more information comes back, but let's go back to our Liverpool.
Yeah, let's get back to it. Because this is big. I'm sorry I'm not going to let you bring this up. I just want to bring it up myself because it shocked me when you sent this to me. Zeljko Buvac is Klopp's number 2. And when Klopp and Buvac were players together, I believe, at Mainz, they both said to each other, if I become a manager, I will bring you with me. So Klopp became manager of Mainz, and Buvac became his number 2. And flash forward 10 years, whatever it was, Klopp is getting hired by Liverpool. Klopp looks at the Liverpool brass. He says, I don't care. You need to sign my assistants before you sign me. And it was in that moment that I realized that Klopp was the best managerial hire on the market, and Liverpool did the steps to get Peter Kravitz and Zeljko Buvac under contract before they even had a signature from Jurgen. So that's unreal. And it
looking after his boys.
Yeah, it speaks to the volumes that Jurgen's willing to look after his boys. Speaks to the volumes of what Jurgen's willing to do with his philosophy, how much he believes in it, how much he believes in his style of management. So then to read that, and hold on, let me take another story detour here. Buvac kind of became like a fan. Like if you were a super fan, which I was, like a total nerd for a while with Liverpool. He was like, yo, look at Buvac, Buvac in training pictures. Let's follow him on social media. Like it was everything. Like people were obsessed with this guy. People would take videos of him walking up to Klopp during games just to whisper in Klopp's ear. People would be like, oh no, what's the brain saying? Because that's his nickname. So then to read that they haven't been talking for months, that Buvac is no longer involved in tactical discussions or decisions, all of these things. And now Buvac isn't even at the club, but the club say he's still employed. He's just taking a leave of absence. And whenever people are like, it's personal, we're not going to speak on it. It's like, all right, well, you're just asking for the public to get angsty about it. Liverpool, if you're not going to tell the truth, and that's not just for Liverpool, that's for any organization ever. You're just asking people to ask more questions and to get more upset about it. I wish they would have just lied to us. We got Champions League semifinals, bro. Like, I don't care really about Buvac right now. But no, I'm worried because what does that speak to Klopp's like personality? Was it his fault that Buvac's leaving? Was it Buvac's fault? Like who pissed off who? You know, it's like you're just left with these questions and concerns, and you're kind of just like, as a fan, you're just kind of scratching your head because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, both with the managers and players. You assume everything's fine, and then when you hear the stuff, you're like, oh yeah, like it's real life for them. There's probably a little bit of friction and tension, but now that he's taking a leave of absence, it's like, really, what is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it really pisses me off when managers or just coaches in any sport, it's like, just tell journalists or anyone looking for information like that, hey, like, no, you just can't have it. I respect that you're trying to get it, and we're not trying to hide anything from you. We're not. But it's like, it's too private, or we don't want our opponents to know what's going on behind these closed doors. I'm like, shut the fuck up and tell me what's going on, you know? But
yeah, it's a fair point on both sides though. Like I definitely understand a club, you know, being more guarded. I don't want to fault a club for being guarded. I want to just call attention to the fact that it just seems like a sloppy handling of this situation.
Yeah, and because I didn't know most of that information, so great insight by Insider Dill there. But to bring it more around with Arsenal, linked with this guy now.
Oh, wait, whoops.
What?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about like big clubs and stuff.
Fuck you. All right. Your ego is getting too big for this podcast. This whole Champions League run. You know, so I'll play an excerpt of it right now, but to give some context on the Impractical Sports Podcast, plug, our other What's Sports affiliated podcast, Noah asked me what club I would root for, and I answered with this, basically saying, yeah, Liverpool. And I don't know what, like, I love everything about Liverpool. It's just you annoying fans, you know? Ugh.
I'm not even an annoying fan. Like I make do I act like Ryan?
You know,
Ryan is the definition of an annoying fan.
Yeah, you have more exposure to his annoying fandomness than I do.
What's the score?
It's still 2-2. We are score watching on this podcast. 88
Okay,
minutes.
so I'm gonna say that like I give you jabs that
no, I was
given to me before. Yeah, I know, but I'm being serious right now. Arsenal are trash. Liverpool are better. I would root for Liverpool too.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if I had to pick a club, well, the question was if you wanted to play for a club, and they're just so exciting to watch. Like,
Who
Actually,
wouldn't have fun playing for them though? Real shit.
maybe me on second thought, actually, because I'm not in good shape at all.
Yeah. Well, this is assuming that we're athletic enough to make a Premier League roster.
Well,
So
yeah, I know that, but like even imagining me being talented enough, I don't think I can get into the kind of Klopp condition to do that high press all season. Like just put me on Arsenal, I'll chill in the middle of the field like Granit Xhaka and not do anything.
and then the fans will say, "Hey, you just wasted 30 million pounds on a guy that doesn't move."
Yeah, I hate Xhaka. He wore the captain's armband the other. Oh, all right. So let's go into this.
Let's do it.
First, before I preview or recap the week that was Wenger, what's the Liverpool assistant's name? Buvac?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what I've basically heard the rumblings of is he's kind of the opposite of Klopp. He's like the bounce setter, that he's like a more composed kind of like not gonna get all emotional like Klopp does.
Right. That's okay. Yes, you are 100% correct.
So
Buvac is reserved and quiet, and he doesn't yell.
Yeah.
And like I said, he whispers. But tactically, he's called the brain because he invented kind of the style that Jurgen Klopp does.
And it's not like that style is like awesome too. And it's not like I wouldn't want him at Arsenal. There's been some links with stores to saying that, and that's what I texted you the other day. But just having another reserved manager like Arsene Wenger for 20 years didn't do crap on the sideline to get anyone excited. I kind of want someone with a little emotion in there, and it doesn't have to be all the time. And I respect managers that are like just chill, but like, it'd be nice to have like a Klopp or someone like that really cares and pumps up the fan base. I don't know. That's just me though. So, unless you had anything to recap,
well, hold on. Let me say, just the last bit on this topic. That it makes a ton of sense.
Yo, Lewandowski just had an open header off a corner, almost scored, but he didn't. Continue.
It would make a ton of sense if the reason there was friction between
Hummels, excuse me,
Klopp and Buvac was because Buvac said, "I'm like, you need to either pay me more, or I'm getting antsy, like I want more opportunity, more responsibility, or I'm ready for the next step in my career, which is for me to become a full manager myself." And I can imagine, like that would be like that would be like me looking at you and being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go start my own soccer podcast with another friend." You know what I mean?
And I'd be like, well, chill, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You'd just be like, "What the hell?" So yeah, I wonder if this is the reason. Interesting, and that's all I'm gonna say. Buvac to Arsenal. That actually sounds really good, dude. I think you should be excited about that.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think I'm just talking myself out of it, knowing that I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah,
maybe he goes to Bayern or something. Heinke is going up. Oh no, they have their guy, right?
They got Tuchel, didn't
Kovac?
they? Oh no, yeah, you're right. They have Michael Kovacs, right? Yeah. Or is Kovacs?
Yeah.
Is it plural or singular?
Singular, I thought.
It's just one Kovac.
Yeah, just the one. Just the one.
Anyway, who cares? Arsenal's week.
Arsene Wenger. The week that was the most Arsene Wenger week ever to be ever. Lauded by fans for finally having the balls to say, you know what, I'm not good enough. I'll step down at the end of the season, let someone else have a crack at it. But me? Not but me. But, Wenger's week started out with, well, let's go with the Atletico game here. 1-1 draw, 10-man Atletico. And just going through the emotions of this game, like, we, as Arsenal fan, Arsenal were pushing them all game long early on. The first 10 minutes before that red card came out, they were the ones being the aggressors. Of course, they were at home, so they should be, and they're always better at home, yes. But once that red card came out, they're kind of playing in Atletico's favor. They're playing more defensively. they're able to play more of their game plan, be stiff, be compact, and not let Arsenal through. So that's a problem. That's not really Wenger's fault, but it's just typical of a Wenger side to fold, to have Koscielny not deal with the ball. That seemed relatively easy to get away from Griezmann, to have Mustafi try to block the ball by just falling down on your backside. What? Oh, he is so bad. And just so typical of them to play well at Old Trafford, receive a welcome, all fun games, and then Marouane Fellaini unmarked by the Greek free transfer that came in January. Like Fellaini just had no one on him and just plopped it into the bottom corner of the net.
I heard that Mavropanos played well though.
Yeah, otherwise he looked pretty sharp. Yeah, so
that's cool.
Promising signs, but just typical of that.
I'm sure he's younger than us, dude.
Yeah, so is Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Rice Nelson. They're all younger.
Mm-hmm.
And they all played pretty well, just like not good enough, obviously, when you're playing against the top side like United, finishing second in the league this year. So I like that he's playing the young guys, but that's just typical of Wenger, and it just made me realize, yeah, you made the right decision. You got to go. Thank you for having the balls to make that decision, because we all know Kroenke would never. Also, had another couple FIFA realizations. I have been playing a world class with this Arsenal squad for a couple weeks now, or a couple months. Kind of like off and on. I haven't really gotten anywhere in the season. And it is so hard. I am deep in the relegation.
Are you really? So world class is interesting. Whenever I make the jump to it, I'm always like, geez. And then after a couple, it's just like an adjustment period.
Yeah, I think I just have to play more often.
You know? Yeah.
But looks like Bayern are officially out.
Yep.
But Real Madrid, yeah, they're celebrating. I don't know what Varane was just doing there. He's being a fucking idiot. Yeah, world class mode is so hard. Like, made me realize maybe Wenger's actually doing a pretty good job with this squad, because they are so bad in FIFA.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm doing a world class. I think this is like the second Kermit in a row I'm doing world class. I'm just good at the game, dude. I'm just good at it.
Dude, once I come back into town, you're getting your ass beat.
What happened?
Are you still recording?
I don't care. What happened?
Muller almost won it, but Real Madrid just won. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Madrid won. Ryan just said Muller almost put him away. But
tell Ryan to get over here. We're wrapping up the pod.
I forgot Ryan was on a stream.
Huh?
I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, is he late?
What did you say?
Nothing. Let's wrap it up.
Sorry.
No, so that's gonna do it for this Soccer Scoop podcast. Thanks for listening, and thanks for scooping it all in. So make sure to subscribe and keep following along with All About the Sports.
Dude, that was a really good show, I thought.